Okay, so let's talk about Freaky Friday. Oh wait, I mean, let's talk about Suitable Flesh. I this one was this really offended my conservative sensibilities. It was very graphic. I yeah, no, I'm kidding, obviously, but that was a little bit excessive. I don't know. It almost felt like the sex in the movie almost felt excessive at times. Again, I say this, and I know people are probably laughing, but like it was Freaky Friday with a lot of sex, and it was weird. Anyways, it does hit a lot of the notes though, and Heather Graham, oh my god, that performance, man, woo! I'm talking the performance here, okay? Let's be very, very clear. I'm talking about Heather Graham's performance. Anyways, so the movie opens with this therapist played by Heather Graham, and she's approached by a kid who needs her help, Aces or AC, or I don't even know what his name actually was. Anyways, he's being introduced. He's being inhabited by a demon, right? But she initially thinks it's multiple personality disorder, and so she tries to diagnose it as such. She goes to his house, various other stupid, very, very wrong things for someone in her position to do. But anyways, he's inhabited by a demon. Basically, the way this demon thing works, and we'll talk about the rules in a minute because they're very, very, very confusing. But basically, he says some words to him and then takes over his mind. Right? He was inhabiting his father, and then started inhabiting Aces or Asa or whatever his name was. I think it's Asa. Anyways, and so Heather Graham and Judah Lewis were honestly fantastic in this. I need to say that out front before we talk more about the story. They had to play each other. They had to play the demon, and they had to switch kind of quickly and frequently between those people, right? And then obviously Heather Graham also had to play her friend Darlene or Darla or whatever her name was. Um, and I gotta tell you again, I was like they did such a good job that without even music cues, you knew which character they were the instant they were like their entire, you know, posture, stance, like all this stuff just changed instantly. Mannerisms all changed, like, so you knew, okay, they are this character now. And I thought they did such a great job. That's incredible, and that's a very hard thing to do, especially on a dime like that, to be able to switch characters. That is truly special, and I just needed to say that because and they also played so well off each other, because they'd be standing in the same room and doing this, right, and they just worked so well, like they played off each other so well. I thought they did such a fantastic job. My god, I was impressed by that. Anyways, now let's talk about continuity in movies, because this is something which I understand this is based on a book and I haven't read the book and all this other stuff. The continuity was terrible in this movie. So there was never a clear rule about how this demon thing works, and they really used that to their advantage, not making it clear. Um, it at the start, right? It seemed like, because obviously he picks up the phone call at the beginning of the movie, right? So it feels like the demon has to you know, say the words directly to your ear because he had to pick up the phone call for the demon to be able to tell him whatever, right? Then, you know, and so then you're like, okay, that's the rule. You have to say basically directly to this person, and then they can, right? So that's what I was going with. And then all of a sudden, you get a quarter-ish way through the movie, and then the demon wants to get into Heather Graham, and so what he does is he has sex with her as Judah Lewis's character, and is able to transfer into her body when we don't see him saying the words throughout that encounter, um, but still somehow manages to transfer into her body. So now I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, so either now do you have to have sex once? So let's see if she has to transfer back to her, and does he have sex with her again, right? Um, and then it turns out he just says the words to her on a phone call the second time. So then I'm like, okay, so did he have to why did he have to have sex with her the first time, right? Like, did it was it because is that the way it works to transfer someone's body? Because in that case, did if he was in Judah Lewis's character Ace's or Asa's father, how did he get into him the first time, right? You know what I mean? So also the other part of this is obviously the fact that Asa somehow managed to very quickly figure out how went into him once and he acted like this was an ongoing problem. I don't want to give him my body again. Like, I don't know how he figured all this stuff out because there's a lot of unclear, like, lack of clarity there. But whatever. I guess maybe when you're in an old man's body, you're kind of like, oh, okay, I figured. But I don't know how you learn the 3 time thing and all this other stuff. Anyways, um, so then, like, I'm but then so I'm like, okay, you have to at least be. So either you have to have sex with them, I guess, or you have to be in earshot of them and say those magic words. And then at the end of the movie, when he's basically dying, right, and he's in um, the place where you get your autopsy, coroner's, I guess coroner's office. I don't know. I don't know funeral words. Anyways, or dead words or dead part of hospital words. Anyways, so he's basically dead, bleeding, whatever, and he manages to whisper the words again. We'll talk about how I don't know who the demon actually is. If you're dead for that long, your brain should not be functioning. Anyways, um, he he whispers magic words just in the air. She's in the building. I think. I guess you have the psych ward next to the dead people for some reason, and that doesn't make any sense to me either. Like, you would think the psych ward would be in a very different place, not right next to the door where the dead people are being looked at, but whatever, we'll pretend that that makes any sense. And he whispers the magic words. She's in a soundproof padded cell and somehow transfers into her body. That doesn't make any sense because that's not how the entire movie's going. They just made that rule for the last 10 minutes of that film. So and then I don't even remember how he transferred into Darlene or Darla or whatever her name was body, because he would say some words and end up in her body. I think I don't know if there's a point where he didn't do that. Um, but I don't know what those rules are. Also, he did have sex with um, her husband, Heather Graham's character's husband. So I don't know. Again, I don't know. Is it like, oh, I could choose to do it if I have sex? I don't know. Anyways, the rules of the demon were very weird to me, and I don't understand it. But again, regardless of all that, my God, Heather Graham and Judah Lewis were amazing in this. I was actually truly shocked how amazing they were. Um, Also, I don't think I've ever heard someone get run into and also get that many laughs from a movie theater. But overall, again, look, performances were outstanding, and I think that's because, like, you look, okay, look, let's look at Freaky Friday, right? Like the Disney movie. I think it's a Disney movie. It is, right? I gotta check that now. Anyways, while I'm looking for that, if you look at a movie like Freaky Friday, which you're kind of like, okay, that's like a kids movie, so to speak, right? It is a Disney movie. It is. I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. I know I'm right. Um, and it's like it's not that hard to act because you're kind of like it's kind of like a weird awkwardy version of it more than anything. And I think that yes, Disney. Okay, so it's kind of a weird awkward version of that, right? Where it's like they kind of switch places, but at the same time you kind of also know that they didn't. Like, it's just someone playing because, like, but this movie is very different than that. This movie, you legit thought they switched places. Like, they did such a good job. They, like, fully changed, like, the way they talk, the way they spoke. Sorry, they was amazing. I was true, like, that impressed me so much, like, because you could see it, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Anyways, if you want to watch some great performances there, then absolutely watch that. Um, I would yeah, I would probably say that. But other than that, let me know down below what you thought of the movie, and thank you all for watching. Bye.